What do you get when you cross a media-obsessed artist with a new musical movie that's a sequel for one of the best movies to come out in this decade? A 3Ps1 Pod video, of course. In today's video, we talk all about The Joker 2019, including a recap and overview of the trailers for the sequel, and our expectations for the new movie. If you'd like to support us, check out our Ko-Fi. If you have a video you'd like to see from us, check out this Google form. Both are linked in the description and in these QR codes. Grab your popcorn and clown mask, because we're taking a trip right into Gotham City. Enjoy!
Vibe check. Everyone, let's get a vibe check in the comments right now.
So, yes, we're talking about the new Joker movie. I am so excited. This is like one of my most anticipated films of the year.
Top 10 films.
You and everyone else.
Before we talk about the new movie, I thought I wanted to do a little recap because actually, like, I've seen this movie fairly recently, but a lot happens in it, so I figured
So good.
y'all want to be caught up.
This is the one-stop shop.
Yeah, this is your one-stop shop. So the first Joker movie came out in 2019, and it starred Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck, aka the Joker.
Arthur Fleck.
Yeah.
Fleck being
Fleck
his
is his last
I
name.
know.
That's what made him the Joker.
The movie
Right.
is set in 1981, and it basically just
Really?
follows his life.
I did not know that.
Arthur works as a clown, and he's
Arthur.
attacked by people in the street on his way home.
Bruh,
Or actually, I
I
think
hate
he
that
was
part.
working.
I know,
And,
like,
yeah.
That's so sad. You're
And
literally
so
creating
his
a villain.
coworker,
Village origin story.
literally the first like 5 minutes of the movie. His coworker decides, let's give you a gun for self-defense.
Right.
As
So
a extremely
stupid. But
mentally
also,
ill
like, Gotham
human,
is,
and they're
like,
all messed
Yeah,
up.
Gotham's like
nasty.
crazy.
Not like nasty, but like
I mean,
lots of
Gotham is
crime.
messed
Messed
lots of
up.
crime.
It's basically New York on steroids.
On a little like side plot that happens throughout this entire movie, Arthur like goes home and we see that he's trying to pursue a relationship with his neighbor Sophie. So keep that in mind because that gets very interesting. Because Arthur got this gun, he then leads himself to getting fired because he was working at a children's hospital as the clown, which is like great. That
That's
movie
kinda
freaked me
sweet.
out.
And
And he's like dancing around and the gun falls out of his pants. And it is just actually one of the most, I said, cringeworthy moment for sure in my note. Because that was actually the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Devastating the way he like stands there and like looks around
Yeah.
and they're all like
Yeah, it's like
horrified.
really
Yeah,
tries
you're a clown
to
walker.
plead his case, but obviously they're not gonna listen. He is all like distraught and dejected, and he rides the subway home alone, and he's still in his makeup because obviously he just came from the police station. And these drunk businessmen start harassing him, and then they start like getting physical. So then he of course still has his gun for some reason and proceeds to kill them.
Aw.
And then he claims self-defense. Like, okay, yes, but like something that was interesting about these three businessmen is the fact that they happen to work for Wayne Investments, which is a company run by Thomas Wayne, aka Bruce Wayne's father. So we're already getting that connection. He's also like running for mayor at this time, so he has like a say in the trial. And basically this whole event leads to like all these clown protests happening and becoming rampant in the city. Everyone
Justice
starts
for
donning
Arthur
their
Fleck.
everyone starts donning their clown masks. They're like, this is terrible. So they becoming a circus in Gotham City. We get a little jump further into the plot. Arthur invites Sophie, which is obviously we see as his person who is in a relationship
Right, it
with,
looks
right?
like
Like
they're
he's
in a
in a relationship. But he invites Sophie to his stand-up show, which is actually terrible because he wants to pursue comedy. It's kind of like
It's
his
honestly
thing. That's
devastating he can't
yeah,
because they all just bully him.
yeah, it's
Like,
terrible.
literally,
So yeah,
Society
he does
made
his
this guy.
his stand-up show and it goes terribly because he can't stop laughing. In between this, somehow, because like the whole movie is a little bit like jumpy because Arthur's like state of mind, he somehow gets a letter that was from, I think, in between his in correspondence with Thomas Wayne and his mother. Like it was a letter from his mother to Thomas Wayne, and she was basically saying like, Arthur is your son, and that obviously sends him to another spiral because there's another connection that he has to Thomas Wayne. So he goes to visit the Wayne Manor, of course.
And guess who's there?
And guess who's there? There's
Little
a
baby
young
Bruce.
little baby
Little baby
Bruce
Bruce.
at the gate. But then of course he gets kicked out because
Trespassing,
trespassing,
and
and
also,
also freak behavior.
yeah.
Next, a clip of Arthur's failed stand-up show ends up going viral on TikTok. I'm just kidding. Ends up getting aired on his favorite late night show, hosted by Murray Franklin, which is like, he talks about this the whole time. He very much looks up to this guy, but he's just getting slammed, and Murray's calling him the Joker.
Boom, boom.
So basically, Murray, if he didn't do any of this, we would
Murray.
not have this issue, but a lot of stuff happens. Basically, this kind of all starts leading up onto each other because in the beginning, we know that Arthur gets like therapy and medication for his mental illness, from the, I guess it is like the government. It's like the government funding.
Government funded like therapy.
Yeah.
Too.
So unfortunately that gets kind of kicked out the window because they start taking budget cuts, and so he has no longer any access to his medication. After that, he's becoming a little more unhinged because he doesn't have his medication. We find out that Arthur goes to his mother's like institution she was being held in, and he like digs through the records and finds that she was also very mentally ill, similar to him in the way that she was a liar. So she was a housekeeper at the Wayne Manor, but she did not in fact sleep with Thomas Wayne, and that was actually false. So she imagined the whole relationship, and isn't that interesting? We also learn from these records that Arthur developed his laughing condition from being raised with his mother's abusive boyfriend, who gave him a traumatic brain injury from abuse.
Actually horrible.
So that's why that's why he has his laughing condition. He was already very mentally unwell, but learning this was another
confronted with that memory.
Yeah. So then Arthur comes back to Sophie's apartment, obviously like seeking comfort, and then Sophie is literally like freaking out, like, who are you, what are you doing, because he also imagined that relationship. The build up for this entire movie, Arthur ends up going on the talk show with Murray, and he's wearing his iconic clown makeup, and he has this entire monologue. He gets on there and he's kind of like just talking back to Murray the whole time. It's not the interview that he was expecting, and then he talks about society and how basically he was dating for the star, and society is actually a great monologue. Like this whole scene, you're like, especially watching it the first time, I was like, wait, what's happening? Yeah. And he reaches for it in his pocket. He's got the gun and he shoots Murray in the head on live TV.
I'm the Joker.
How would they not like pat him down before that?
I know, it was the 80s
in
Gotham.
80s in Gotham.
No pat downs. So yeah, that moment is like chills. It's really, really good. Chills. So Arthur is obviously then arrested. This event was live, so it set off a bunch of riots in Gotham, and then we see one rioter kill Bruce Wayne's parents in the streets.
So where is he coming back?
That's how it's like they're the origin.
Joker would like definitely be very old when Batman like arises, right?
Joker's like middle age because we're in.
Joker's like old. Yeah, he's like older.
I thought he was like 30.
Yeah, probably.
I think
it's
it's
like extremely gaunt.
Yeah,
so he's
no,
old. Like, I don't think Joaquin's even that old. Like he's like 40.
I think he's like 49 or something.
Honestly, like if he was like 30 in this, I wouldn't be surprised. And then like in 20.
So
he's an old man.
That's just very interesting. That's kind of the gist of the movie, and get excited for the new movie.
So after just watching the trailer, after hearing Maya's beautiful synopsis,
you're all ready and caught up.
Yeah, you're all ready. So like watch the trailer. I assume you have. It came out like 2 months ago. But the fact that Lady Gaga is in it, like,
that was like
Gaga.
I remember when the paparazzi, well, I guess technically paparazzi photos dropped of her Harley Quinn, and I was like, because I think that was like they had either just announced that they were making that, or it was very like unknown what the plot was gonna be.
Before I watched the trailer, I had only heard the two things, that Gaga was gonna be in it and as Harley Quinn, and it was gonna be a musical. And so I was like, my initial reaction, I was like, okay, like what are we doing? But then I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, but it's not gonna be like a musical, like cheesy normal musical. Like it's gonna be like, it's gonna make sense. It makes sense, and
more
it's gonna
like not delusion, but like it's like living in their minds.
Yes, and they're like performers. It makes a lot of sense. The production looks so good, obviously.
So the first movie production was already like insane. But, like this being on like a musical, quote unquote musical level.
And because like the first one was supposed to be like a standalone movie, anytime that happens and then it does so well that a sequel, like that the company is like, oh, we have to do a sequel. It's like, it's probably not gonna be great. Yeah. It looks different, but it looks I think it looks really good. Like I will be sad, I will be watching it.
Well, because it's such like an interesting way to do a sequel.
Yes.
Because it's like, I mean,
to have it a musical. Like that's...
I mean, because it's like they're obviously like DC has its own universe. They could do a million things with the Joker, but like adding like the addition of like Harley Quinn, and especially because there's been so many different ways of telling their story. This is such like a cool way to do it, especially because like that specific Joker is so iconic and like one of my favorites, honestly.
Obviously Joker and Harley Quinn would be like the protagonists, but like do we have like a bad guy like against them? Like because obviously Batman's still young, so like what's gonna be the opposition?
Because in the first movie it was just literally his story of like it was man versus world.
Like, society.
Man versus society
was the villain.
But I wonder what it's gonna be in this one. Will it still be?
Yeah, like a villain, good guy, or not good guy, but
meet again
on some sunny day. They're putting Bill Cipher in the movie.
Bill Cipher's gonna be the...
Fun fact, Bill Cipher is the villain.
Like we were saying, Joker 2019 was supposed to be a standalone and is obviously very highly regarded. Like, Joaquin won the Oscar for Best Actor. Yeah, as he should, because that is actually crazy, like, the lengths. Like, physical transformation alone, like...
And he did it.
The fact he did it again for this movie, like...
Okay.
He's flip-flopping.
He's dedicated.
Like,
Yeah,
is he
he's
okay?
dedicated. Probably not, but...
Probably not.
He actually seems to be doing pretty well these days, but...
At the Venice Film Festival.
Yeah, at the Venice, he's, like, living his best life. It's Gaga's influence.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, she actually mentioned something about feeding
friends?
him blueberry. They fed him blueberries on set.
Oh.
Like a starved animal, like,
Yeah,
he's like dying.
dying.
So you can't take it anymore. They feed him a
They just
couple
give
of
him a
blueberries.
couple blueberries for energy.
Obviously, this one has a lot to live up to, but like we were saying, honestly, I'm not gonna say it's gonna like match the first one, but because the premise is kind of a little different, like it's literally a musical, a jukebox musical. It's gonna be like, I feel like it's still gonna be like same
So I
quality.
think it could end up kind of like its own
thing as well.
Like
Yeah,
I
as
feel
well.
like
Like,
it's going in the direction of like
can
the
be a
trailer is like, yeah,
standalone.
like it feels like it could be good enough to like not rely on the
first
movie
one. I
at all.
agree.
They're just like independently both good movies in the same universe.
I agree. I
which is
agree.
awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely a feat. I feel like nowadays people are like pretty hyped for it, but still it's kind of a split reaction because some people don't like musicals. And that's really what it boils down to if we're
How
gonna
are
be
you watching a
honest.
movie? Like, movies are entertainment.
Musicals
are
are
entertainment.
so fun.
Music is
I
entertainment.
love musicals.
That combines
Musicals
it.
are so impressive too. The people who
Yes, they're
it's
so talented. And like
mind blowing
Honestly,
every part of it.
I feel like people who don't like musicals have never seen one in real life. Maybe because
Even
if you
movie
sit
musicals,
there
like,
in
it's
the
like,
audience,
theater kids.
you sit there in the audience and you see how much work they put in. It's like you
Insane.
cannot help
And the
but
quality.
be impressed. It's crazy. It's crazy.
yeah, so obviously for me, I'm going to be very excited for it as soon as I hear musical because I literally am down for any musical ever. If you're not, actually get over it because I don't know.
Be more chill.
Oh, except for maybe that one. And like what we're expecting, kind of surrealist moment. It's gonna be like them dancing in prison, and it's like them dancing on stage, and it's gonna go back to the prison.
Like the La La Land scene where they're in the observatory
Yeah.
and they're dancing.
But honestly, it could kind of work kind of like that, like where it just kind of cuts back to real life, and it
Yeah.
was like it didn't really just like it wasn't like them dancing, twirling out on like the jail floor, like.
I saw like a TikTok comment about that scene in La La Land, and they were like, the reason the scene is beautiful is because obviously they weren't actually floating around. It was representing what it's like to fall in love. And it was like,
Did we need that to
what
be said out loud?
There's no elements of fantasy in that movie at all.
Yeah, it's like, oh, whoa, they just transcended.
Whoa,
to a
they
different
can like
realm.
actually
Yeah, there's
float.
magic.
Why
Like,
do they never
right.
talk about that? Like,
But I'm so excited, and
Yeah, I cannot wait to see this movie. I cannot.
I'm just like
wait to
interested
the
to
movie.
see other people's reactions too.
Yeah.
Like, are they gonna be extremely critical? I honestly probably.
yes, definitely.
Yeah, especially the people who really like the first one. Because it could be great, and there'll be people who are like so they'd be like,
Lady Gaga, who's that?
Yeah, literally. Well, yeah,
But she's very talented.
The first
She
one is
is.
like so like film bro.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
and
But
this one
it's
is like,
good.
okay,
I know,
we
it's
gotta
so
drop
good.
it for the girls.
But it's like, yeah, but we need this next one is like the balance.
But it's
Yeah.
like not even
And
maybe whimsy,
everyone who understands the quality of things should be able to understand that musicals can be quality as well.
but absolutely.
also like most of the time are extremely quality.
Yes, except
But-
for be more
chill.
You got quick.
Maybe Hamilton.